Okay. Uh, so I had a little bit of a scare there. New update. That wasn't the new update. That's the old update. Essentially, I thought my campaign had gotten wiped out. But we still have it, which is amazing. I thought that even if I had gone back into the game file, the game updates, the previous game update, that I still wouldn't be able to access this because it might have been deleted, but it isn't. It's still here, so that's good. I do, however, want to go and look at the new one, because it says that there's like 50 plus hulls and a bunch of guns that should have been added. So hold on. Okay. Oh, that's actually interesting. They changed the notification. Warning, oh, campaign, yep. To clean up shared designs manual, okay. Incompatible. Let's just look at my shared designs. Let's see if it's France, Germany, there we go, US. Alright, so nothing here. Okay. Amazing. Let's look at this. So we've got these things. A gunboat. Light cruiser. It doesn't look like there are any new ship designs here. Small battleship here. The towers do not change. We're about 5 years from now. What do we got? We got this. That. Okay, so things still haven't changed too much. Another 5 years from now. You see, this is the hull that I was saying that I was not sure I should have used for the Kearsarge. How large was the Kearsarge class? Let's see. Excuse me. 13,000 tons, long tons, roughly. So this could have been it, yeah. I suppose. Not for this, and the fact that you can't put the right caliber of guns in here. Look, you can put 5 inches there, but it requires a lot more than just 4 or 5 inches. It requires 14 5 inches. So could you could put 4 inches in there. So I suppose this could have worked. And then you got smaller 2.2s. You could put there. I don't understand why you put them there. That does not make sense. How many of these things were there? 20? Jesus. And you got that. And I don't know. Maybe I should have used this one. Maybe I was right not to. I don't know. Cramped. Yada yada yada. I'm not seeing anything that's too new. At least I don't think so. Maybe I mean, because I did this one for the Illinois, maybe it would have been good to do this hull for the Kearsages, just to, like, round out the hulls. I don't know. I used, wasn't it this thing? Yeah, I think I used this thing instead. Dual funnel, and that thing is only available on this one. Can't get on this one. Yeah, so either this one or this one, and this one unfortunately looks more like it than this one, because it does have that step down. Anyway, that's stuff that I already went over. Let's see. Experimental Dreadnought. Okay, this is the, South Carolina. Don't know what the fuck this one is. This one isn't the South Carolina, or... I have no clue what this one is. Yeah, I'm going through... I didn't pause it, right? No, I didn't pause it. I'm going through the designs. I should probably... Well, not the designs, but... Let's see... Come on, window capture. Virginia. There we go. Okay. So this is the straight hull one Virginia used. This is also the straight hull one on the Connecticut, the Mississippi. Not the straight hull, not the flat deck, but also the turret sits lower, so it's not that hull that we were just looking at. And then you go even further, Mississippi, and then you get to the South Carolina, and South Carolina class. battleship images. Okay, so interesting. So let's go back. And what did she carry? Probably 12 inches. I think it was 12 inches. That's a 12-inch deck. Yes, 12 inches. 8 12 inches. Okay, so interesting. This thing has enough. But then this one, what is... Oh, okay, so this one... But which one is the, I know we had this one before. I recognize these two weird... Those two weird things. Yeah, it looks like this one is the South Carolina hull, and this one is a different one. What the hell? What came after the South Carolina? It was like, it was the Delawares? Okay, and what did the Delawares look like? Let's, BB-28. Delaware class battleship images. Yeah. So, the hell? What the hell is the point of this hull then? It's experimental, so I suppose it's in the same class as this thing, just... But this is a... Oh, this is... Where is it? Oh, those are the only two BBs for... this one. And these two... They're experimental, but they... That one as well. Interesting. So, not all the experimental hulls get ditched. But some of them do. This is South Carolina, experimental Dreadnought 1. This is the one. This is the Delaware class. This might be as well. I don't... Excuse me. Let's see. I'm looking for displacement. I gotta remember that. 22,800. Rounding up. 22,800. So... Yeah, that's not happening. This one. 22,800. Let's get the beam down. 22,800. And to let's for those of you who, you know, specifically, what was your name, Steven? Let me see that. I don't want to be that asshole who just forgets names. Steve. Yes, Steve. Don't know if that's your real name or not. I'm not gonna say that last name. Seems like it might be your actual name. Don't know if you want that publicized, but this is the tab that you were talking about. Let's try our best and make this Delaware class the right length beam and perhaps draft if we can. So, design, speed, yeah, beam, length, draft. Okay. We got the draft, we got the tons. 10.514 ton. What? This is the displacement. Okay, this is confusing because I know displacement is how many tons of water you displace in the water. And that's a way of measuring how many tons the ship weighs, right? Well, this is saying 10.514 tons. I don't... Oh, that's... Okay, I'm stupid. That's the actual weight, not the... Okay. I see what's going on there. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. So... speed, range, vertical, triple expansion, multiple expansion. Delaware. Let's see if we can get this further back in time then. Experimental. Actually, what was the year? What was the year? Let's laid down November 07. Okay. And experimental Dreadnought, Dreadnought 2, Battlecruiser, the fuck? Dreadnought 3. Okay, I'm getting confused here. This one. Laid down November of 1907. Realistically, in the game, we may not be able to lay it down at this point in time. But let's rename this the Delaware. And let's look at the beam. So, beam 85 foot 3 inches. So, 98. Already, we can't get to the proper beam. This is 89, and the proper beam was 85 foot 3 inches. 26 meters. Okay, well, we got that as close as we can. What was the draft? So we got the draft 36 foot 11, and the draft was 27 foot 3 inches. So let's decrease the draft as well. We can't get the proper draft. We got down to 31.7 inches. Does this change the draft at all? By adding more weight. Obsolete. Whatever. We'll we'll do the multiple expansion instead. It was actually this triple expansion instead of multiple expansion, but it's not letting me go back that far. And this is the actual date. So, what if we increased it? Well, what's the length? So, we seem to have the best draft and the best dream beam that we can get it at 2, and it was 21 knot speed with a range of 11,000 kilometers at 10 knots. So 11,000 kilometers at 10 knots. Boost, forced, natural, semi-oil. Oil. Coal. This would become the speed for all American standard type battleships. Propulsion systems were mixed, while North Dakota was fitted with steam turbines. Delaware retained triple expansion engines. Okay. Direct drive turbines were much less fuel efficient. A significant concern for a navy with Pacific responsibilities, but lacking Britain's extensive network of coaling stations. These ships saw varied service during their careers. During World War I, Delaware was part of a battleship division 9 of the U.S. Atlantic Fleet and was assigned to British Grand Fleet. She escorted convoys and participated in the blockade of the German High Seas Fleet. In contrast, North Dakota remained on the American coast throughout the war, due in part to worries about her troublesome turbine engines. Post-war, they conducted training cruises with the U.S. Atlantic Fleet. In 1924, Delaware was broken up for scrap metal in accordance with the Washington Naval Treaty of 1922. North Dakota survived until 1931, when she was scrapped under the terms of the 1930 Washington or Naval London Naval Treaty. Jesus. So I suppose she was coal fueled, and they never got to oil fuel. Okay. So coal. Those best steering, I suppose I can get. That nickel steel, propulsion, armament, armor. The armor belt ranged in thickness from 9 to 11 inches. The more important areas of the ship: casemates, barbettes, armor. The armored belt ranged from thick armor plate. The barbettes, housed main guns, turrets were armored with between of armor. The side portions vulnerable. Received thinner armor to save weight. The gun turrets themselves were armored with 12 inches of armor. The conning tower piercing as design prompted by the launch and and misinformation about HMS Dreadnought, the U.S. Navy Congress faced what they perceived as a vastly better battleship than two South Carolina battleships then under construction, which were designed under tonnage constraints that Congress had imposed on capital ships. Actually, the South Carolinas were inferior in speed, only in speed, to Dreadnought. They carried fewer heavy guns, but unlike Dreadnought, could bring all of them to bear on the broadside. Because of this, they could fire an equal weight of metal. Also, because greater time and care had been taken with their armor and bulkhead arrangement, they were better protected than the British ship. None of this was realized at the time. Nevertheless, the Navy's Bureau of Construction and Repair had struggled tremendously to design an adequate warship under congressional limits and had taken battleship design as far under those restrictions as it could. Seeing now that those limits had become unrealistic, Congress ended them, and subsequent constraints would be dedicated to by treaty limitations. The language of the authorizing act of June 26, 1906, was for a battleship carrying as heavy armor as a powerful armament as any known vessel of its class to have the highest practicable speed and the greatest practicable radius of action. I'm not seeing anything on the wiki about the armor that it used. The type of armor. It probably wasn't Harvey. It was probably some version of Krupp, so let's just go Krupp 2. Anti-torpedo. Actually, the Delawares were significantly more powerful than their predecessors, the South Carolina class, and are mentioned in Conway's All the World's Fighting Ships as the first to match the standard set by the British with Dreadnought. This was due in large part to the elimination of congressional limits on size of new battleships. The only restriction on Congress placed on their design was that the cost of the hull and machinery could not exceed $6 million US. $6 million US. Shoot, if I decide okay, so yeah. That's already not possible. Much like all of this. Anti-flooding, Citadel. Delaware. Where did it go? There it is. The Delaware class ships were also significantly larger than the South Carolinas. They were 510 feet long at the waterline and 518 foot 9 inches long overall. By comparison, the South Carolina class were 400 lengths, 500. Yeah, that's already way above. That's like 100 foot longer. So that's not there. Delaware's had a beam and Back to the armor belt. Range and thickness from 9 to 11 inches. So let's do 11. In the more important areas of the ship, the casemate guns mounted in the hull have between 8 and 10 inches of armor plate. Okay, let's go to the main armament first then. The Delaware class ships were armed with 10 12-inch 45 caliber Mark V guns in 5 twin gun turrets. This was an addition of 2 guns compared to the preceding South Carolinas. I see. So, when do we actually get that bullshit? Come on, stop changing the hull type on me. Okay, so 1909. Possibility of getting that earlier if I tech rush. I believe. So that's something to keep in mind. Already 30 minutes in, so when were they commissioned? 1910. Okay, so this is reasonable because it's gonna take about a year to construct. Otherwise, if I find anything else in here that can't be done, then that could be a problem. Now let's decrease the beam and draft once again all the way down. 21 knots, 2280, and unreasonable lengths. And let's copy. Yeah, we can't even get it down to the length that it was, like, anywhere near. Coal, natural induced, that will change when I add the funnels. So let's look at, let's get this crap. Hydroblast, Corrupt 3, maybe? I don't believe, let's go with Anti-Torp 1, because I don't believe, shoot, did they, it's probably not gonna tell me if they did or didn't, will it? Did the Delawares have a double bottom hull? Okay, doesn't look like it. So let's stick with the single. Bulkheads, flooding, 11. Center line turrets. And if I want to, so one thing to consider is that if I wanted to do this at the proper time period, I might just be able to use this and echelon them. Something like that. Just a little bit, you know, so it looks roughly center lined at first glance. You know, with a closer inspection it's not, but that's something to consider. Let's get those two up there. And this actually looks longer than it should be, I think. Which may be a problem. Pictures. Let's actually show you pictures. So, the Delawares, if I can get the dang thing up. Yes, so cage masts, they were developed. Is there a version of them without cage masts? If there is, then I may. It doesn't, though. I can't tell if that's. I think that's a cage mast. So. Yes, let's make them with the cage masts. Can I get that picture any larger? Okay, then. Okay. Now, let's go back to Ultimate Admiral. We've got these advanced masts. Now, what? Ah, yeah, see, this is another problem with trying to make the historical designs, because you end up with all these things so small that sometimes you just can't fit the superstructures on. Let's, I'm going to see. Okay, so that's that small model. This. Maybe the thinness of this one matches it. I'm not sure. I would much rather have better stats, though. If I can get away with it, of course. Yeah, see, that's a difference of, what, 3 points? 3.5? Seven, 10, 10.5, yeah, 3.5 of aiming speed, and then the base accuracy is, yeah, that goes up by a large margin. So, well, let's make this design try and stay true to that. So next is the funnel, which we can probably get away with making a larger funnel. Let's look at that, and because it looks like there's, if I take you back over to the picture, it looks like there's a bit of space there, and it looks like there's some stuff there, so we could try and represent that with some of our funnels, if possible. And to do that, we can try and use this one. And these things are actually about like half the height of the towers, so yes, they're all about the same freaking size. So let's not worry about that too much. Secondary tower. That doesn't fit. That fits, okay. Whoops. Undo. That looks about right. And let's see. So that tower needs to be... Whoa. Large mast? What the fuck? Okay. So let's put that there. Let's actually put it over here. Let's see if we can... Does this... That does not look right. See, the problem here that I'm seeing is that there's another one and it's pretty much placed directly next to it and it's smaller. So... Well, not smaller. It looks like it's the same height, just on a different level. So... Let's see if it's possible to try and make that possible. The other thing that we could try to do is a smaller one. I hate that. There's clearly room. It doesn't let you. That is smaller. Can we? No. So... Let's just do this. That have to do, and then that, and a little exhaust. That's smaller. Good. That there, and is there a way that we could fit something in between there? This overloader one, perhaps? Yes, but that makes the small one look large. Interesting. So let's just do this then. And smaller one that is a little bit lower in height, right? I think it is. Then let's see, so we've got a firing barbette. Does that fit right? Looks a little bit too tall. So let's medium. possibly. Let's stuff that against the back. And then... let's take other looks at more photos that are not just a model, because models can be inaccurate. And let me just show you. Okay, so this, we can see that there is, this isn't such a good photo. There is space there, but they do overlap. So let's do this. What caliber gun were they? Because that's going to play a contributing factor here. 45 caliber Mark V guns. These are Mark III guns, but that doesn't really matter so much. They are currently Mark 53. How far can we get them down? 42. Okay. Let's do 14. That is a 45 cal. Good. Okay, and then on the end, back to back. There we go. And suddenly we have a Delaware. Delaware. There we go. And can that be reduced? Yeah, let's reduce that for some extra weight savings. Let's get the top bar bit. Increase AP, increase AP, so the secondaries have a bit of ability there. Let's just go with base fuse. Let's stay safe. Capped ballistic. Heavy. Because we're American, we like our shells. Shit. Ballistite, cordite. Okay, let's stick with ballistite. I don't know what they actually shot. Let's go over here. Armament. The Delaware class ships were armed with 10 12-inch 45 caliber Mark V guns in 5 twin gun turrets. This was an addition of 2 guns compared to the preceding South Carolinas. The gun housings were Mark VII type, and they allowed for depression of -5 degrees and elevation of +15 degrees. The guns had a rate of fire of 2 to 3 rounds per minute. They fired 870-pound shells of either armor-piercing or common types, though the common types was obsolete by 1915 and put out of production. The propellant charge was 310 pounds in silk bags and provided a muzzle velocity of 2,700 feet per second. The guns were expected to fire. Propellant charge. That's the best description that I can get from the damn wiki. The guns were expected to fire 175 rounds before the barrels would require replacement. The two ships carried 100 shells per gun, or 1,000 rounds in total. At 15 degrees elevation, the guns could hit targets out at to approximately 20,000 yards, or 18,288 meters. The two turrets were mounted in a super firing pair, while the other three were mounted aft of the main superstructure. Where two turrets were mounted in a super firing pair. Oh, super firing pair. Where's my thing? Okay, so mounted in a super firing pair. Well, when I first read that, I thought two of them, and then it said the last three, and I'm like, what? While the other three were mounted aft of the main superstructure, all on the center line. The placement of the rear gun turrets proved problematic. Caps placed the rear super firing turret number 3 closest amidships, since it represented the greatest weight borne by the ship's superstructure due to its tall barbette. This placement would allow it to support the greatest amount of underwater volume available. The two rear turrets, numbers 4 and 5, were placed level and back-to-back. This arrangement was determined detrimental in two ways. First, number 3 could not fire astern, with number 4 trained forward, which left only two 12-inch guns, number 5 to do so. First, number 3 could not fire astern, with number 4 trained for what? Number 3 could not fire astern. What? Why the fuck couldn't it fire astern? Certainly looks like it could fire astern, especially at range. I mean, perhaps there's problems with the gun blast, but I mean, look at this. Even this picture, like at range, definitely. Perhaps the gun blast prevents it from firing over the other turrets. I don't know. Ooh. There's one in War Thunder? But even then, the gun blast is going to be fired in this direction. That's at the armor, not directly down. I mean, with the Texases, if I go all the way back, the Texases and Maines, because of their layout, the en echelon layout, able to fire this way and this way. This deck and this deck had to. Well, they just couldn't fire because it wasn't. They didn't predict that the gun blast was gonna be so powerful. It actually damaged the decks. So, when they did that. And it's the same thing for the USS Maine, 1809. 1809? Yes, this one. The one that sunk from a mine, was it? Spanish word for the ship's destruction. During the Cuban War of Independence, she exploded and sank on the evening, killing sailors. Navy Board inquiry ruled that the ship had been sunk by an external explosion from a mine. Yes. And she had the same in echelon design. Where is her there? The same in echelon design. Well, not the same, but similar. Super firing over each side. And this actually better represents the one in game, because the Texas here, they're oriented so close together. But that's besides the that's going off on too much of a tangent. I still don't understand why it couldn't fire aft, but I suppose blast would explain it to a degree. Let's go back. Come on. Switch it. Where was I? Not doing anything in the game, so let's just continue reading the wiki page. The other two rear turrets, numbers 4 and 5, were placed level. Number 3 turret first, number 3 turret cannot fire astern, with number 4 turret forward, which left only the 12-inch guns of the number 5 turret to do so. Second, excuse me, because the engine room was situated between numbers 3 and 4, steam lines ran from the boiler rooms amidships around the ammunition magazines for number 3 turret from number 3 turret, bad grammar, to the engine room. That's like the complete wrong use of the word. These lines, it was later found, had the potential to heat the powder in the magazines and degrade its ballistics. This design flaw was also prevalent in several British dreadnoughts, but was considered inescapable by naval designers on structural grounds. Another challenge with the main armament was that its weight, 437 long tons, 444 tons per turret, which had to be spread over much of the hull, led to increased stress on the structure. The closer the weight of the heavy guns to the ends, the greater the stress and risk of structural failure due to metal fatigue. Uh, you know how you bend a paper clip over and over and over again? You bend it into an L one way, you bend it into an L the other way, and you do that, you're fatiguing the metal. It becomes weaker and eventually it breaks. That's what they're talking about. When these ships go on the waves, they actually bend, and they're meant to bend just a little bit. Otherwise, they'll just break on the water. Um, that's taken into account during their design. High speed required fine ends, which were not especially buoyant. And the okay, so there was a problem with the Iowas. High speed required fine ends. The Iowas had very sexy, very fine ends. Loved the way the Iowas are constructed, but they were not especially buoyant. So the Iowas actually ended up having a problem with high waves because the Iowas would their bows would dip beneath those waves. That's why their bow structure was so. Let's actually USS Iowa spell correctly. That's why they have such a pronounced bow in order to keep the bow above the water. It's meant to add that little bit extra buoyancy, and you can see this is not an Iowa. Well, it's an Iowa hull with half converted carrier, but you can see how pronounced that is. It can't shoot straight forward. It has to shoot at an angle in order to fire forward. You can see in this picture as well. That's both to add extra buoyancy and, of course, during high waves, it's how do you say that? It's spread at the top. Both once again to stay above the waves, but also to prevent waves from coming over the deck and interfering with the guns. Because that was a problem that many warships faced, was flooding of the guns. Because of all those parts that were in there, they couldn't all be watertight. Um, of course, they did their best, but that was a problem that I think the Scharnhorst had. I think the hoods, because of all the extra armor. Well, really, the one ship hood, because of all of the extra armor that was placed, I believe they had the same problem. Um, don't quote me on that. But that is a thing. Anyway, and the amount of space needed amidships for machinery precluded moving the main turrets further inboard. Um, and that's because the let's go back. This barbette is not all that there is. It goes all the way deeper into the ship, all the way to the bottom, and that's why you see that the machinery spaces that were located in between these turrets, they couldn't just go straight backwards underneath the barbettes. The barbette actually went all the way down to the keel of the ship. And you can't exactly tell that from these pictures, but that's what happened. And because of that, the tubing had to go around, which is why they were saying that it heated the propellant. So cool little facts here. Not having to worry about a displacement limit allowed the caps of the option of deepening the hull, which helped to some extent. Caps, I guess he's the designer. sign. Which allowed designers at the Navy's Bureau of Construction and Repair. Construction and oh, maybe not. I thought that was it would be an acronym. Is it the builder? Newport News Shipbuilding, Fort River Shipyard. No idea. Would certainly make more sense if I could figure that out. But let's continue on. The main guns allowed Caps the option of deepening the hull, which helped to some extent. He added a forecastle to allow for better sea keeping and to make room for officers' quarters and restore the full height of the hull aft. The problem itself, however, remained. Okay. Secondary guns. The Naval War College, in its 1905 Newport Summer Conference, considered the 3-inch 46mm guns fitted to the South Carolina class too light for effective anti-torpedo boat defense. A committee on this issue formed during the conference suggested that a gun with a high velocity and flat trajectory would work best, one powerful enough to smash an attacking vessel, yet light enough for easy handling and rapid firing. For this purpose, the committee found 5-inch guns appeared best suited. During the Delaware's design, CNR considered 6-inch 152mm guns, but concerns voiced by the Naval War College about the lack of heavy splinter protection for these guns and smoke uptakes led to an adaptation of 5-inch 50 caliber guns to balanced increase in armor weight. The Delawares mounted 14 5-inch 50 caliber Mark 6 guns, 2 forward on the main deck, 10 encasemates on the side, and 2 aft on the main deck, abeam. Okay, then. Let's see. They could fire 2 to 3 rounds per minute. That's going to be the rate of fire here. Rate of fire 1. Come on, please, show up. There we go. Okay, so perhaps let's do TNT. Let's stick with TNT. Let's change that to light. That doesn't do shit. Yeah, sometimes I don't really understand these things. Because, well, first of all, in a game like World of Warships, turret traverse is key because you're always maneuvering, and that's because you're playing in a MMO. Everyone does their own thing. You're not using fleet tactics or any of that nonsense. unless you're playing in a division, but even that, you know, that's not an entire fleet, and you're not going to be facing up against an entire fleet. So it's pointless to travel like these ships do, like the real ships do. But this, in this game, these will be, you know, in battle lines. They won't necessarily need the blank. My mind has gone a blank. They won't necessarily need the turret traverse. So I suppose I'll just, unless it tells me exactly what they have, which I don't think it did. Yeah, I don't think it did. I'm just going to go for the one that's going to give me the least flaws. Enhanced gun reload. Warning, complex turret. Okay, yes. Then contents and invest. Damn, these things are heavy. Oh. Not quite. Okay, never mind. Right, secondary guns. So there were how many? Delaware's mounted 14 5-inch secondaries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Encasemates on the side, and 2 aft on the main deck. Where were those? 2 aft on the main deck, meaning what? Where were they? Yeah, it okay, so let me show you. This one says apparently this is the main deck. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 10, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's all of them. So apparently this is the main deck. Oh, I will never understand the wiki. How can it consider that being the main deck? That is clearly not the main deck. So let's do this. Where exactly were they? Okay. One here forward was the main battery turret. So let's do that, and then one just aft of the. Okay, yeah. So here. Those are the 5 inches, and then they were what caliber? 50 caliber Mark 6 guns. They're Mark 2, but can we get them up to 50 caliber? That's 39. How far can we get them up? 44. Okay. No messing with the diameter. Let's see. They fired 3 types of rounds. A light AP shell that weighed 500 pounds. Hold on. There was 2 forward, 10 encasemates. They were all encasemates, god damn it. On the side and 2 aft on the main deck, a beam, number 5 turret, a beam, number 5 turret. They had a rate of fire of 6 to 8 rounds per minute. Excuse me. And actually, was it? Yeah, it looks like it was a flat hull. Okay. Just with that thing. So I did get the right hull. Um. They had a rate of fire of 6 to 8 rounds per minute. They fired 3 types of rounds: a light AP shell that weighed 50 pounds, and a heavy AP round that weighed 60 pounds. The third type was a common Mark 15 shell, which also weighed 50 pounds. The 50-pound shells were fired at a muzzle velocity of 3,000 feet per second, while the larger 60-pound shells traveled at a slightly slower to 2,700 feet per second. The guns were emplaced on both Mark 9 and Mark 12 pedestal mounts. The Mark 9 version limited elevation to 15 degrees, while the Mark 12 allowed for up to 25 degrees. The 5-inch 50 was able to penetrate most effectively at 500 yards, or 5,000 yards, sorry, which was the deciding factor in the decision to equip the Delaware class with them. The 5-inch guns were supplied with a total of 240 rounds per barrel. While these guns were considered an improvement by the Navy over that of the South Carolinas, their placement remained problematic even in calm water they were extremely wet and thus difficult to man. The forward guns were moved into the superstructure after sea trials. The casemate mounted secondary armament was one deck below the main deck and provided the majority of complaints from shipping water from the forward positions and breaking the flow of the bow wave, imparting extra drag on the design. Anti-aircraft guns. As with the South Carolina class, these ships were fitted with 2 3-inch caliber anti-aircraft AA guns in Mark 11 mounts in 1917. The Mark 11 mount was the first 3-inch AA mount issued by the U.S. Navy. They had a trunnion height of a trunnion. What do they mean by trunnion? Trunnion mount. Images. A raised mount? Meaning. A type of bracket that can be used for a variety of purpose. Okay. Shock absorbers. Okay. And then the images. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing. But it looks like they were simply shock absorbers. Something like this. That would absorb the recoil. Interesting. So I thought that with a height of, compared to the height of on the pedestal mounts used against surface craft, this allowed them to an elevation range of between, maximum range was, oh, I see, because, okay, uh, So because of the height of it, they were able to get a better elevation because there had to be gun behind the mounting, and they like changed some trajectories and stuff, I suppose. Um, the weight of the gun, center of mass, all of that in order to achieve that. So that's essentially what it's saying, I suppose. Going back over here, they had a trunnion height compared to amount used against this allowed them an elevation range. Maximum range was at 43 degrees and maximum ceiling. Torpedo tubes carried two 21-inch torpedo tubes below the waterline. Okay. The Mark Model torpedo TNT range, yada yada yada. Okay. And then on to the armor. Let's get. I don't know where they were located, but I can. Okay, armor. Finally, armor. Alright. The armored belt ranged in thickness from 9 to 11 inches in the more important areas of the ship. Oh my god. Excuse me. Areas of the ship. Casemate guns mounted in the hull had between 8 and 10 inches of armored plate. Okay, we got 8. That's good. Let's just reduce that to 6. The barbettes that housed the main gun turrets were armored with between 4 and 10 inches of armor. The side portions, more vulnerable to shell fire, were thicker, while the front and rear sections of the barbette, which were less likely to be hit, received thinner armor to save weight. The gun turrets themselves were armored with 12 inches of armor. The conning tower was 11.5 inches thick. As in the designs of all early dreadnoughts, the deck armor was very thin, at 1.5 inches in most areas and 2 inches over machinery and magazines. So it says in most areas, and of course this isn't going to be most areas, but machinery and magazines are all going to be in this area, and this is where the main deck is, so we have to represent that there. In terms of effectiveness and not in terms of whatever else it might be. The conning tower was as in designs of over the machinery and magazine. These ships were expected to do most of their firing at ranges less than 10,000 yards, At such distances, deck strikes would be a rare event. Okay. Well, let's just armor these to that. Actually, can we armor them? Oh, they already are. Interesting. Okay. Let's actually increase the penetration of our guns. Yeah, okay, so at the distances that they're meant to, that's fine. So even if an enemy has capitalistic, we're good. Measure velocity, shell damage, shell fire chances, shell rate, shell cost, shell freeze time. And then let's armor the superstructure the same way. Can't do anything more with the Citadel armor. Doesn't say anything about the tops of the turrets. Interesting. I suppose it would be the same armor. Let's actually go 3. Roughly the same armor as everything else. Let's go 3 with this as well. Ooh, what was the gun length of 50 caliber? Okay, they're not going to be 50 caliber right off the bat. I know that for a fact. That's 33 caliber. This is our ship. Interesting. Wait, settings, general. Aha. This may change some things. Such as the forward. Okay. What about this? Okay, good. Good. Base fuse. Let's take a look at the plan. Max load, and then okay, so we have a bunch of extra space. I don't know. I suppose it'd be fun to try and do the Wyomings, but wow. Oh, engine efficiency. Let's okay. First, why does that all of a sudden fuck up our pitch and roll? That's more like incorrect. Alright, 11,000 km. Draft. Yeah. That's the best that we can do with the beam length and all of that. Very interesting to me though, because it seems to me like there is a shit ton of room for improvement. Obviously, if you don't care about that, then you can make the pitch and roll better by increasing the beam. You can also do that, and you will probably be able to 2280. draft. Wait, am I still... Okay, good. I thought I was still on the other tab there for a moment. What the hell? Negative 10. Negative 5. Negative 6. More fuel, but the fuck happened with everything here? I don't understand. Beam. Okay, with a larger beam, what can we fit? Can we fit the largest one? Seems like we can. But it does that. Okay, so... And it was actually pretty darn close. This tower was pretty darn close to the turret. So it would... That takes it far away. And with each one it takes it closer because it's smaller. Okay. $22,800. Negative 8. Negative 7. Okay, negative 7 works. Oh, but that's... These were the same height. Which would mean using this one, which seems fine. Until you encounter that. Okay. Can't always get what you want. Okay. Let's decrease a little bit more range and okay. Well, perhaps this is a little more historical than what I might have originally designed. I still think we could have gone with something better. Perhaps so, perhaps not. I would really like some better pitch and roll if I can get that. 7. -8. Okay. And then 14, -14 to try and counteract. No. Okay. Alright, well, there's a Delaware. Not gonna build any because we're in shared designs. But that's what we have to deal with now. After that, we get this one and this one. And I haven't really messed with the so much of this stuff yet, so I don't know. I don't think I would know if there have been any changes to any hulls or any additions. Which would be pretty disappointing for me. Wait. Huh? Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. You've gotta be kidding me. This is... Nah. Nah, that's not the right hull. Why do they make... Okay, so... This, right? For all intents and purposes, looks like the right hull, right? Well, I literally just noticed in the pictures this, and then it drops off, and you can see that it you know, splits the decks, and then it goes up, and then it goes to the bow, which means that there's a raised portion of the bow. Kind of hard to see, right? And then you can see it here, look. Stops, goes, and then goes. This hull doesn't have that. It's in the correct time period. But then you go over here, and you look at these, and you look at these, and you look at these, and then you go over here, and you look at these, and then you're like, wait, what? Holy crap. Cage mast, cage mast, cage mast. This one actually fits. Holy crap. This is that raised portion. But there aren't any secondary batteries there, and it's definitely not going to be long enough. What the hell? It's got none of the correct funnels, but all it takes is this to say, wait, is this the right hull? Of course, it's not. But it's so annoying. We don't get the raised portion there. I just noticed it because I was looking back at the pictures. Ugh. Some parts are badly placed. Oh goody. These are badly placed. Amazing. Can we fix that? Why? There's no reason for any of this. It just moves these things automatically, and like the best thing you can do is annoy it. Is ignore it, but annoys me so much. It really makes me wonder how the hell you're actually supposed to use these shared designs if they keep... Like, because the entire point, right, is to ensure that this design can be used by the AI. Say you want a historical game, maybe you were, I don't know, the Japanese, and you wanted a historical game against the US, so you made all these shared designs for the US, and then you saved them. But then you go and you make other designs, and then you do all this other stuff, and then you come back. And eventually, it's not doing it now, but eventually these will all just be moved forward somehow. And I think maybe, possibly, the way to do it is save the design every time you exit. Maybe. Maybe then it won't change. I don't know. I put that back to 15, didn't I? But that's been... I'll probably release this because it's not... I'll probably release this on like a Sunday or something as like an extra episode. I thought that I would be doing Play 4 on the weekends, but I can't find any concepts that really like haven't been done or haven't been done in a while. There are things that I think that I would like to do. Maybe, well, I should probably get back to doing the Brazil, but doing the Americas with the latest DLC. But excuse me, I've done Peru. Grand Colombia, as well as whatever it was. And I'm not going to be playing any of the other nations there because it's basically the exact same thing, just weaker. Because with Bolivia, you can only form something with Peru. With Colombia, you can only form Grand Colombia. It's kind of just pointless, is my point. But Brazil has already been done into oblivion by everyone else. Chile has been done into oblivion by everyone else. The only real thing would be to like try and break some record, but there's always someone who's going to break it in the most like unconventional way possible, like informing that entire South America nation. You can make an entire America's nation with Chile, I think, because you can like conquer North America, Middle America, and South America, and install puppets that are, the Indian tribes. Which, now that I think about it, seems very evil. Because in order to do that, you would need a greater population of Indians in each of those places than, say, Americans or Canadians or Mexicans. Which would mean that you would have to do it Hitler style. By trying to massacre, like Hitler did with the Russians in Ukraine and Russians in Belarus. To try and spread Germany's Aryan race. Ugh. I don't want to do that anymore. You would have to massacre Americans, massacre Canadians, which, massacre Mexicans, which is also, and I say that jokingly because I'm not either of those nationalities. I'm a American. And then you would have to have, like, I don't know, some sort of government breeding program for the natives in order to build up the population quick enough in order to, occupy the cities and stuff. And I say breeding program, but who knows? Maybe it will be a breeding program, depending on how evil the state is, but maybe just incentives. Proper incentives. Nothing like healthcare or anything like that. That safety net just forces people to rely on that safety net and stuff, and taxes that go into providing that safety net force them to do it. Because the more you tax people in order to provide a safety net like that, the less money that they're going to have, and the more they're going to need to rely on a safety net like that. Unless you can somehow make it a hell of a lot cheaper and more efficient, which the government is never going to be able to do. efficient. At least not in a republic like ours. Or, well, technically you could, in a true democracy, you could, vote a dictator in, like what ended up happening with the Roman Republic, because they slowly declined into democracy, which enabled them to do that. And they suffered the same fate as the Greeks that came before. And the only thing that we can hope to do is not suffer that same fate. This has been a massive tangent. Massive tangents. What the hell am I doing? This is not anything about games. But yes, I'm going to go and record an actual episode now. Have a nice day. Maybe I will end up, because this series has been getting more views than anything else that I've been posting. At least combined. There have been a few Hoi 4 episodes that I've done that have gotten a bunch of views. Not too many views. I think the max I've gotten is like 53, maybe 60 something. Which is totally unexpected. I mean, I don't know what I expect. I just expect it to be left in the shadows for forever, but that doesn't seem to be happening. I guess I suppose it's going to just be a little more gradual. I don't know. I don't know what I expect. Anyway, have a nice day. And I will see you in the next episode. Actually, I do have another little update. The Minecraft series is coming to an end in terms of the footage that I have, so I'm going to start recording more of that. And I think I'm going to try and refine that a little more by stopping and starting the recording, because most of the time I just don't talk. Like, there's nothing to talk about. It'd be a hell of a lot better if I could, get some friends to play with, but life, they're all in worse situations than I am. And they don't have time, money, or computers to do it. And I also don't want to upload a video of 44 that's also just going to be boring. Because I know that I'm not the most entertaining of guys. At least by myself. Other people bounce off me, and I bounce off other people a lot better than what would otherwise be possible, which means that we come out with funnier content. And I think that's the entire reason why the videos with Fog of Doom were so successful in terms of my Hoi 4 series, because we provided some comedy. So I don't know. I think because Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts has been so successful that I'll probably stick with it. I'll probably upload more videos of UAD than I do of anything else. I'm probably going to be starting episodes with World of Warships, and I'm probably going to be starting episodes with what's it called? Think. This is. I generally think that my intelligence is average, but my mind blanks so much. That's like the entire reason why I call myself mindless pirate. I have no clue where I was. But this has pretty much been 30 minutes of me like giving an update and waxing philosophical about politics and shit. Have a nice day. I'm ending the recording now. Thanks everyone for watching.